how do we get more pizzas made faster? The problem with that is as you get pizzas made faster, you open the door to more customers. And then you end up in the same problem that you had originally.
When you're turning away customers, you feel like you're throwing money out the door.
100%.
But then you have to balance, like, are those customers gonna be served the way we wanna serve them?
Correct.
And then is it gonna overwhelm the team?
Yes.
On today's Pizzeria Insider, we are at GAPCo with Sammy, the owner. He's a pizza champion, but he also does a tremendous amount of sales out of this tiny pizzeria. We were here on a Friday, it was packed. And he's gonna show us around, show us how he organizes the pizzeria and how he does so much volume out of so little square footage. This one's gonna be amazing. If you like the pizza business and you're looking to open, but you don't have a huge budget and you need to start small, this episode of the Pizzeria Insider is gonna be right up your alley. So let's get right into the episode with Sammy right now.
Heading in to see Sammy. It's busy in there. Let's go. Pizza looks good though. Greenville Avenue Pizza Company.
That's it.
I did not know when you said Greenville Avenue Pizza Company that like this Greenville Avenue, this is a popular street in Dallas?
Yeah. So this is where, a lot of people, back in the day, this was just all bars. When I was young, 24 years old, I was like, oh, this will be a no-brainer. We'll do pizza by the slice, blah, 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 we'll make a bunch of money. Obviously, it doesn't work like that.
How long ago did this open? And when did you start?
So it will turn 18 years old this October.
You own this for 18 years?
18 years.
Jesus. I didn't know you owned this for 18 years, dude.
18 years, yeah. So started it when I was 24 years old. Originally started it with some family. And, my older brother was the original cook and chef. And he did all the recipes. And younger brother did delivery driver.
Yeah.
Dad would pop in and help bank some dough. But as the years went on, you learn, like, okay, like, am I doing this?
Yeah, is it gonna be family run kind of one thing, or am I gonna do this as a business?
Yeah, and obviously it became like, hey, I get it serious, I gotta do this. And then it just turned into, what it does with a lot of people. 90-hour work weeks, 7 days a week. It becomes your life. It became my life. It still is.
So when did you open? What year did you open?
2007. And I had no restaurant experience. Zero. I had 3 months at Chili's as a waiter. That was the extent.
Sounds like a lot of people though.
I think if people have the fantasy, the dream of what it could be like, and then you learn like, oh my God.
Oh, I think what happens
is hard.
I agree, 100%. I think what happens is people want to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then they think, oh, pizza looks easy.
Yeah.
Let me start there.
Yeah, sure.
But it's like a pizza restaurant is the same thing as a regular restaurant. There's no entry level restaurant.
Yeah. Well, it's like making the pizza is the easy part.
Yeah.
Managing the people.
Yeah.
That's the challenge, right? Becoming a leader, implementing systems, accountability, all of the things that come with it, knowing how to run financials and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's all the things that make it hard, right? Because how many restaurants that have great food still close?
A lot.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
Here in Dallas, I mean, we have a massive restaurant per square capita, one of the largest in the country. And
Are
so
you from
competition
Dallas?
stuff. I am born and raised here, just 13 minutes away.
Okay, cool.
So my second location is actually just down the street from where I live.
Oh, okay.
Which is also where I grew up.
Is it the same as this one, or is it different than this one?
It's smaller. Same.
Smaller than this one?
Smaller than this one.
Wow.
So this is 1,500 square feet. The other one's 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
Both are high volume though. This one, because we're on like a strip that has foot traffic, this store is liable to open up and actually stay busy from open to close. That store is not, but their dinner can surpass hours that even this one does, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Now they won't have the longevity of it.
Right.
Here, this thing, as I've said, this will make people cry.
There's a lot going on in a little space.
Dude, try it at 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
What's the percentage of delivery to dine in?
So here, I guess, really, we're primarily dine-in.
Really?
We used to do a lot of delivery pre-COVID, but of course, like many, we've transferred a lot of it to third party.
Right.
So, third party used to be about 20%, now it's about 33%.
Real quick, what's this? So I see you got this.
Well, so
I do.
One of the things that I worked really hard to create back in 2015 when we rebranded the restaurant as the logo, the Phoenix and everything you see here. We redid the interior, exterior, all of that back in 2015. I really wanted to brand the team, and a lot of that came with creating like a persona. And so that persona became the Pizza Slayer, right? And so I was like, well, the Pizza Slayer has to look like a Pizza Slayer. They can't just have a chef coat on and then that's it. So I was like, the tools have to be on it. So of course, I'm equipped with, an awesome pizza cutter.
This is custom, obviously.
It fits, yeah. So a blacksmith made this for me as just like a gift. And I was like, bro, this completes the look. The Slayer is now complete. And of course, a dough knife.
What does it take to be a pizza slayer?
Some dedication, commitment, and you are an expert behind that pizza line. You'll see our kitchen, but even on our pizza line, we don't have photos of pizza. We have the team know it. So every single count, how much pepperoni goes on that, how much Canadian bacon goes on that, how many ounces of pineapple goes on that. It's all being taught through memorization.
Wow.
We put the team through a lot of memorization, then it's the reps. Then they gotta learn how to run lead, how to command the line. They gotta learn how to run ovens, which running ovens is one thing, running volume ovens is another thing. We're not just giving out coats and holsters to give it out. It's not to a point where it's not a gimmick to me. And it could be, right? I could use it as a gimmick, but I don't. I don't want it to be a gimmick. For us, it has a meaning. For me, it has a meaning. And that means that if somebody's wearing this, they better represent the brand and they better represent what a pizza slayer is.
I like that.
And it's a badass, you know? And so getting people to be really aligned with the vision, who we are, the core values, and want to meet that, that's ultimately what you have to become. But again, finding that and cultivating that, that's hard.
That's the hardest part.
Making pizza's easy.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you going every day.
Nice. I love it.
So
Let's take a look inside.
Yeah.
So you walk in, you make pizzas
You
right here.
walk in and it's right here. Boom. Pizza Slayers are here. People are greeted by the Slayers.
Okay.
They're like, hey, welcome to GAPCo,
You probably get a lot of people who just sit here and watch people.
Oh, 100%, dude.
How many people do you have working here usually, like on a...
You ready for this?
Yeah.
So on a Friday night, you're talking 4 people, 4 makers.
Wow. 2
rolling, 2, potentially 1 to 2 on ovens. Cashier station will have 2 plus an expo.
Okay.
So if you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people just behind here.
Then you have 2 ovens.
I've got 2 more in the back.
Oh, okay.
We had to knock out a bathroom just to add more ovens. This is just for delivery, and we do like DoorDash back here as well. So I'll literally have anywhere between 1 to 4 people back here.
Wow.
So, if it's a crazy night, we're expecting it to be crazy, like a St. Patty's, 1, 2, 3, and then a person working ovens. So you can just envision just the insanity that is going on right here. One of the things that really changed GAPCo back in the day was a point of sale. Using a system like that and then utilizing the data to increase production. Really honed in on the data. What happened when COVID hit, you had a lot of companies that were automating the electronic orders to go directly into the system. Back then, we were doing, pre-COVID, we were doing like 100 deliveries a night.
Wow.
I mean, it was chaos. So you can imagine how many cashiers I had just putting orders in. It was insanity. For someone like me that's so invested in API technology, data, working with other companies, that's been a huge game changer for us.
Nice.
And so right now what we have happen is as soon as I plug in this monitor, tickets will automatically stop going up there and start populating back here.
For delivery.
For delivery, right? So it happens like a flip of a switch.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
And then a lot of what we're doing is we're really, like on our KDS screens, we're monitoring a lot of things. How long a pizza is sitting on the lead station. How long is it sitting on make, right? A pizza should be made in under 3 minutes always, no matter the complexity of it, right? I know some people are probably like, oh, that takes forever, but it's like, if it's a freaking half supreme, half pesto Shoutout and we do that here, just so people know that about GAPCo. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't mix sauces. We do. If they want a freaking half pesto pizza and a half chicken spinach Alfredo pizza, we do it. So this was a bathroom. So I had to knock the wall out. And again, it was all about how do we get more pizzas made faster? The problem with that is as you get pizzas made faster, you open the door to more customers. And then you end up in the same problem that you had originally. So one of the things that has been a hard lesson for me, I'm still coping with it. I was always so top line driven. I'm really working on my P&Ls right now and deciding, all right,
what's enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard.
When you're turning away customers, you feel like you're throwing money out the door.
100%.
But then you have to balance, like, are those customers going to be served the way we want to serve
Correct.
them? And then is it going to overwhelm the team?
Yes. We're in the process right now of just using a lot of technology to really use that to help us throttle orders, all of that. We're always going. And so therefore, you always have a lot of staff, and that's a lot of people to manage. It's a lot of stuff to go after. So we have lots of checklists, lots of clipboards, lots of par lists. I mean, we're constantly checking everything, because if we don't, you're out of everything all the time.
Right.
You know?
Where do you prep?
So as you see right now, portioning French fries.
Yep.
Obviously a sheeter, that's one of our slicers. So you pop in, like, so I said, we pop in a cartridge that has a specific cut. And then that way, as we do it, you know, you can't F that up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know?
So what kind of pizza do you say you have?
Some people are like, oh, you're New York style, because we do by the slice.
Yep.
A lot of times I tell people, I'm like, we're not doing things very traditional to the New York style way. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that you know in the pizza scene that really compare my style more to like a tavern.
Yes.
Because it is thin, there is that crisp at the end. And so I always tell people kind of like a New York style pseudo tavern. But yeah, so we sheet it, take it up front, use a rolling pin to kind of finish it off, get it to that thickness that we like, which is about 1/8 of an inch. So we won't take it to the 1/8 of an inch here, but we will on the line.
How many people on the line here working when it's busy?
3.
All right down here, though, right?
And typically during the day there'll be 4 because of the prep.
Yeah.
But then at night you'll have one guy doing dish, one guy, he'll do dishes and skins, another person will be on tickets, and another person will be on prep. You can come over here. You can kind of see a couple different, we're using the charbroiler to cook things.
Nice.
We got some sausage that we're cooking here, bacon that we're cooking here. So all ingredients are cooked from raw in-house. So for me, you know, I'm sure a lot of people out there have the same struggles, but when you get high volume, it's like the concern of consistency gets higher and higher and higher, because your crew's just trying to get it done, man. They're just trying to get it done. And so that's where a lot of the managers, I have a lot of, you know, checklists, like, you know, are we doing, you know, there's our dough log, you know. Look, it looks like crap, but the fact of the matter is they get it done.
Yeah, you gotta have someone come in, even though it's busy, and get the same pizza they got last week this week.
100%, man, and that's exactly what I tell them. I'm like, at the end of the day, guys, we're busy because we're consistent.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, if we drop the ball there,
we're in trouble.
We're gonna be hurting.
I love it. Where do you keep all your dough?
Right here.
Okay.
So this comes up
all right.
in as we call for it. So of course we call it skins.
Yeah.
So we need another tray of skins. So we use walkie-talkies to communicate to the kitchen.
Oh, nice.
And then somebody does it in the back.
They just run it out to you?
Yep.
That's nice.
Yep.
That's super cool.
Make sure that's good. Then I'll move it over here.
That's your pizza sauce.
That's it right here.
Nice,
So you
I like
see how
it.
the color is different? 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the crust. Then we call this shading.
Get rid of the lines.
Yep. Everything is, of course, scaled. If it's just a cheese or just a pepperoni, they're gonna get a little bit more. It's so interesting too, when you go to an in-house shred, how different it is.
Texture-wise?
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
Give that a shake, and then that'll go in the oven.
How long does it cook
What
for?
I'll do, 7 minutes.
That's pretty quick.
Well, for 12's 6, but
I like how you did that.
oh, dude, it's very nice. You know, that's what's funny too, is like when you actually have slayers on the line, you know, they'll of course use the tools.
Yeah.
And so using the tools makes it so much easier to get things going. You know?
They're good.
Bobby, you want to get those next ones going?
Yes, sir.
There we go, 5.5. And you're good to go. Our rule is to kind of cut anything that's black, just because people, and that's what we go for.
Nice.
Right? That's whole. So a lot of people are always asking, you know, hey Sammy, how did you get so high volume out of 1,500 square feet?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's been my focus on time standards. It's been my focus on maximization of space. Even if we look back behind there, I've had to shave off sections of the butcher block just to be able to fit bigger equipment. Because if I can fit another pair of hands, I can produce another $150 every half hour. Because that's what I deem a person can make.
Right.
So I had to break down, how much pizza a person could make in a half hour, then tie a value to that. And I just kept going, all right, I gotta keep going more. I gotta keep going more. And so the hard part about that is that you end up creating a space where everybody's like this.
Yeah.
We're butt to butt,
I mean, sometimes it's better to have an efficient space like that. We were just at a kitchen the other day. Do you know Zalat Pizza?
Yeah.
So I was at Khan's kitchen and one of his shops. He's like, you know what? This kitchen is too big.
Yeah.
I wish it was a little bit more condensed because people gotta walk too much.
Yep.
Whereas no one's gonna walk anywhere.
There's nowhere
they probably
to go.
do 7 steps. Just turn it all day. Yeah. There's no steps being done. If you could have more space, would you have more space?
Yeah, I mean, if this is 1,500 square feet, man, if we just had an extra 250, maybe 500 tops.
Where would it go? In the kitchen, like that area?
I would move those ovens up here.
And just have everything in one
and
place?
combine everything.
I think I'd rather be in your scenario here where you're like, all right, I'm cramped, but it's so busy.
Yeah.
Versus I have all this space but I can't get people in the door.
100%. And look, man, and I always tell people too, that is the vibe though, right? Like you come in and customers are like, oh shit, what is going on in here?
Yeah, it kind of looks.
That's the energy.
Yeah, it makes you want to go to a place like that. Like when I first walked in here and I was like, holy shit, it's fucking busy in here. Holy smokes. Busy in here. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's got to be doing something right.
I know.
So the Phoenix, a story of rebirth, renewal, and rising through the ashes. That's so much of what our story is down here because right after the went through the recession, then we had street construction, and so we really were being reborn, and that was kind of the story of redoing the restaurant. So we worked with a local branding company called Plan B that does a lot of national stuff, and yeah, to go with a firm, pretty expensive. But I will say overall worth the investment because we did it in stages, right? So we started with logo, then that fed into interior, and then it went to exterior. It really helped us elevate from just being a pizza joint to a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
It really started though with the logo because that's what started with the story. Then after that phase was done, we went to the Pizza Slayer. So it was like in a new addition to the story.
A lot of people have asked me what's the plan on growth? And I'm like, man, right now I'm all about culture. I want the right people. I want to feel, another thing as an entrepreneur, we're in control.
Yeah.
And in that moment where I had a third restaurant and things were getting out of control and it was just after COVID. My mom got sick. I had a baby. Everything, and I lost control.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't lose everything because some people do.
Yeah.
Thank God we pulled the cord when we did.
I feel like a lot of people in the industry always ask people when they have a pizzeria that's successful, when you're gonna open it. Stop asking people that. It's okay to have one really good restaurant.
Agreed.
It's okay not to have to have goals of having 10 pizzerias.
Yep.
If you have one really busy one and you're happy, be happy. You don't need to continuously have growth.
Yeah. It's funny. So I sit in entrepreneur groups and there's that, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
No. The growth could actually potentially cause some death.
Yeah.
And it has for some people.
You can grow in other ways.
Agreed.
Your 2 restaurants are really busy. Do something else.
Yes.
That makes you happy.
Well, what about personal growth?
Exactly.
Right? That also is happening while you're just having 1 or 2. It doesn't have to happen at 7, And so, like we talked about, you still manage to get growth even through failure. But I agree with you. I think that sometimes that you'll figure it out. Maybe you will.
Right.
There is you of course have to believe in yourself and get out there and do it every day. But failure blows.
I know.
Failure blows, man.
I have failed many times in my life at many things. When you're going through it at the moment, you're like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
100%.
But as long as you're healthy, and your family's healthy, and you can still do stuff, money comes and goes. You can make the money back.
Agreed. When I started moving on to the third restaurant, I forgot how hard that was. Now that I've kind of moved past the third store, my 2 are doing very well. You get that sense of, like you said, you're being humble. And then on top of that, like you said, I've got a great family. I've got a great 4-year-old, and I'm 42 now. I'm not 35 where I'm just keep going,
We don't have as much energy.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this Pizzeria Insider video. We hope you like it. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment below where you're watching this from. What's the name of your pizzeria if you have one? And if you don't have one, just leave where you're watching this from. I love to see everybody's comments about what they think of these videos and these episodes right when they come out. I'll be hanging out in the comments below, so make sure you do that. Thank you so much to Sammy for letting us come in and introing his place. We will link everything up for Sammy's place in the description below this video as well. If you want to go check them out on Instagram, or if you're in the Dallas area and you want to stop into one of his 2 locations, we will link them up in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you right back here next week.